Take it off.
Welcome to RC Pilot Hangar. I'm here with Charles Schaefer, and I'm in his hangar, and he's got quite a bit of planes in here. So Charles, tell me a little bit about how you got into this, and then we'll talk about everything else.
Okay, well, we were living in Maryland at the time, near the Annapolis area, and that just outside of Annapolis. And my son and I used to go to a model airplane field pretty close to where we lived and watch the planes.
Okay.
And we just really enjoyed, you know, not only watching the planes, but the thought of building one, and also the fellowship, you know, of meeting the other, meeting the other people that were interested in the hobby. And so my wife, who regrets it to this day, gave me a model airplane for Christmas, and that was in 1979.
Oh, okay. All right.
And so my son and I, he was 7 at the time, but thoroughly interested in this, obviously. And we started building that plane, putting it together, and it was a SIG Cadet, which is famous as a trainer.
Okay.
And it was all sticks. Okay, so in those days, there were no such things as ARFs. You had to build everything.
That's right. Yeah.
We built the Cadet, and then, unfortunately, just right in the middle of the build, we got transferred to Dallas. Okay.
Oh.
So we ended up in the Plano area, and my son and I finished the airplane and joined the Richardson RC Club.
Okay.
And that's where I learned to fly. Okay. Right. Of course, in those days, the field was right off of Highway 75 on 544 in that area, and there was, you know, a lot of warehouses and things like that. But so it wasn't the greatest field. But
do you remember the transmitter you had too?
I had a Kraft 5-channel transmitter. It was kind of gold colored.
I remember those, yes.
And worked fine. You had to be very careful. We only had like 7 frequencies, and somebody was always turning on. You know, usually it was somebody new to the hobby. They were always turning on, and we'd see an airplane come spinning down and crash. It was because they had turned on the wrong frequency.
Yeah, there was no multiple frequencies like we have now.
We're so lucky now.
Yeah. So your son, did he actually fly too?
Oh yes, he learned how to fly about the same time I did. He was 8 when he learned how to fly. By 9, he was giving instructions to other kids. You know, he's a natural. Okay. He's a natural model airplane flyer. Now, he gave it up a few years ago for Jeeps.
Cars. Yeah.
And a motorhome. So he doesn't fly anymore, but yes, he grew up with me in the hobby, and we really thoroughly enjoyed it.
So after your first airplane, I see we have multiple in here. So kind of what happened then? Because you've also gotten to jets and drones and so forth. Yeah. But what was kind of your next step after that?
Well, I mean, you know, it's like I'm sure most people in the hobby, you crash them, you put them back together, you crash them, you put them back together. So I progressed up the ladder in terms of, you know, flying difficulty.
Yeah.
And gained additional skills. I had a sweet stick, I think it was Midwest, kitted it, and so that was a good plane to help me learn how to fly on. And I had various models after that. Then, because of my job, we were transferred a lot. So we were transferred to the UK, of all places.
Did you fly there too?
Yes. Oh. I took a couple of planes with me in boxes, and we flew over there. We were there for 5 years. Wow. And I flew every weekend, you know. And
was there model clubs, the same thing like we've got here?
Same thing, thing. And they're just as interested in the hobby as we are here, you know. So it was a lot of fun. Different frequencies, different radio equipment, but same.
The radios are opposite too, aren't they, on the sticks?
Well, a lot of guys fly mode 1 over there, whereas we fly mode 2 here.
Right.
They enjoyed the hobby, and they were avid. They were actually more scale oriented than I think people in this country.
Okay.
They liked, you know, their World War I, World War II aircraft a lot. So. Spitfires.
That's what I was going to say. Spitfires,
Hurricanes
are the two they probably see.
Tiger Moths for World War I, you know.
Yeah.
And but anyway, that's how I progressed. Then we moved back to the U.S. From the UK, and I was in the New Jersey area, and so I continued to fly there. Kind of hard to find a decent flying site there, but I found one.
Wow.
And then I've just continued on the hobby, and we have moved 7 times since then.
Oh my God. And you ended up back here at Dallas.
Yep,
So,
I retired in 2008, and this was our home. Of course, we came back to help take care of our parents and all
yes,
that.
yeah. So in your collection here, how many planes do you think you have?
I've got about 25.
25.
Yeah.
But large, I mean, we've got a lot of large
Yeah.
planes versus the smaller planes.
Yeah, I like
see you
the
just
big-
have a few up here, but not-
Yeah, I like the big warbirds
Yeah.
more than anything. I enjoy flying, and I don't actually fly jets, but I build jets.
Oh, okay.
So I built about a half a dozen in the last year for
I mean,
other modelers.
the jets have you built, are they the turbine or EDFs or?
Turbine.
Turbine, wow.
Yeah, turbine. Yeah, I built a number of EDF as well, but
And you've never
most
flown the turbine at all?
no,
Okay.
no.
Can I ask why? There's reasons just kind of
Well, it's just not really of interest to me. I like the thrill of the
scale,
prop, you know.
Yeah, I've heard
In
that
fact-
from other modelers.
Yeah, in fact,
Yeah.
I enjoy World War I planes more so than others.
Yeah.
The rest of the warbirds. I actually have more World War II at this time, but I like the first war planes.
This plane here that you can see behind Charles, tell me a little bit about this plane, because the last time, I didn't even speak to you. I think I spoke to somebody else telling me a little bit about it, but your wife
Yeah.
actually helped paint this.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes.
She helps me on just about all of my models. She loves to do the pilots and scale painting and things like that. She's very good at it.
Yeah.
But this is a Fokker D7,
Okay.
which was the last German fighter in World War One, and it was. They say it was the best. Okay, I built this from a Balsa USA kit, so 1/3 scale.
Okay.
It has a 3W85cc motor in it, a big single, plenty of power like it is. It weighs 44 pounds, flying weight, and flies like a dream, flies like a big trainer. It's very nice.
Is
And,
it slow, fast?
It is very slow, yeah.
Okay.
The scale speed on the airplane was probably 120.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is 3rd scale, so anytime you're going above 40 miles an hour, you're approaching the scale speed.
Yeah. I want to make one of those. That's a really cool plane.
I've got another one in the box right there behind you.
Oh,
It's-
boy.
This is a 1/3 scale SOP with pup
Oh, yeah, yeah.
in that box right there, and
Wow.
I've got the cowling underneath and everything. So that's my next project.
Wow. So out of all your planes that you've got here, do you have a favorite that you kind of like to fly all the time, or?
Well, yes, I do. I've got a Tower Hobbies, actually Top Flight P-47 sitting back there. It's got the yellow and red cowling on it. It's
Okay.
a 1/5 scale. And that is, in my opinion, the best flying World War II plane out there.
Wow.
And it's big enough, you can see it good. It flies very scale-like. It makes good noise.
Now, have you entered any of your planes in any type of competition or any type of model event or for detail
Yeah.
of your planes?
Well,
or-
yeah, the D7 has been to 7 events, and,
Okay.
I've won 6 trophies with it.
So how do
for
these
scale.
events actually work? Are they?
They're very, they're very laid back. I mean, they're not tough. Now, I haven't actually gone to, finite scale contests like Top Gun or whatever.
Okay.
But these are events where either your fellow pilot's boat or there's somebody that takes care of the choices. And I've won best World War I plane with the D7.
Oh, fantastic.
So, yeah.
So your next step is this plane here that's in the box. That's kind of what
That's
you're...
my plans. I probably won't be able to start it until after the summer, but that's my plan to build that.
So, and you're also into drones. So tell me a little bit about your drone
Yeah,
flying.
I've got 3 FPV drones. They're 250 millimeter size, okay, with 6-inch props. And I enjoy FPV flying. I'm not very good at it, but I enjoy it.
So I remember I was with you one time flying, you had a larger one that you had with you.
Standing up there.
Okay.
But those are hexacopters, and I scratch built those. Bought
Okay.
all the components.
All right.
And scratch built them. And And for their, age and day and so on and so forth, they were pretty sophisticated and they flew very well.
Yeah.
But I like the little FPVs.
Yeah.
I like
The little
first-person view.
racing type drones.
But I
Yeah.
don't race. I just kind of fly around the sky and, in fact, I'm not even into aerobatics yet.
Okay.
But I enjoy flying around and I enjoy the first-person view experience.
Yeah. And now you fly mostly at North Dallas Field is kind of the field.
That's my home field because it's only about 20 minutes from here, and
Okay.
it's close. I'm also a member of Richardson RC, which flies out at Lake Lavon.
Okay.
And so I go out there,
And
maybe-
Lake Dallas.
Yeah.
You're in three clubs now.
down in the Falcons as well. So I'm in 3 clubs, and I enjoy all of them. I try to go to as many meetings as I can, and I try to. Since I'm retired, I can fly during the week.
And you were on the board as well with one of them, were you?
I've been on the board with Richardson and with North Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've kind of seen a
I'm
lot.
vice president, and I'm currently safety officer at North Dallas. And,
Okay.
yeah, we always try to get involved. And I actually am the event manager for North Dallas's Warbirds Over Texas event. We've had, this will be our 11th one that we're going to do this year. And it's been a real success for the club. And we like to think it's great for the hobby.
Normally you do the Warbirds in July. So
June.
you usually have, is it June?
June.
Okay.
June. Second weekend in June.
Okay, and you get people that come from all over to that
We do.
event.
We've had people from Alabama, from as far away as Kansas, all over Texas. Sometimes quite a few from Oklahoma.
Right,
Yeah.
and it's not just a one-day event; it's a couple of days.
It's 2 days, and a lot of times because there's a lot of guys that enjoy using our runway. We have a 700-foot runway.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Paved runway, and so they'll come down a day early. So the flying really starts on Thursday.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk a little bit. There's a lot of newbies that look, at these videos. What would you suggest about anybody wanting to get into the hobby? Where they should start? You got any tips or anything about that?
Well, I do. I think number one, they should seek out a club to start with. Because they'll get expert assistance.
Right.
They may also get some non-expert assistance, but
Yeah.
for the most part,
Yeah.
the members will embrace them and help them with the hobby. And almost all the clubs have, certainly the 3 that I'm involved in, have some level of training programs, and they can make recommendations to them that, number one, will pretty much ensure their success in learning how to fly, and it's the least costly way to go, because if they get out there and try it by themselves, chances are they're going to crash, and chances are they're not going to remain in the hobby.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of sad, but it's not difficult, but it is something that does take some training and experience.
Right. All right.
Yeah, and I would start if I were starting out today, I'd start in the electric side as opposed to glow engines or gas engines.
Yeah, the electrics have gone so.
They have
far.
excellent performance, and they're a lot easier to live with.
And all the stabilization that's on them now.
Yes,
So.
right, yeah.
Charles is also a sailplane pilot, and here he is actually flying. You're actually flying the Sailplane here, and if you can also tell me a little bit what's going on.
Yeah, that's a 4-meter sailplane. Its name is Mosquito. It was developed in Germany, and so it's one of the larger models. And I'm getting ready for a tow here, being towed by a 3rd scale Pawnee with a 100cc. There we go.
So, are you actually flying from the ground? I know you got a camera on here, so you're actually flying from the ground looking up at the plane, correct?
Absolutely, yes. Just
Okay.
like a conventional RC.
So then once he releases you, he kind of just gets out of the way and you kind of have all the area to yourself when you're flying?
Right. The objective here is to pick up thermal activity and extend your flight time. Typically, we'll fly for anywhere between 10 and 25 minutes. Just depends on the amount of updraft we get.
And what kind of controls are actually on a 4-meter airplane? I fly smaller planes. Is it different with additional controls, or?
The only thing that's unique about it is it has flaps, which I deploy usually sometimes if there's light lift, just a very slight amount of reflex on the flaps. And then we also use flaps and ailerons mixed in as air brakes.
Okay.
So the flaps go up, the ailerons go down, and gives you kind of an air brake effect.
Are you using any type of varial system to tell you what's going on?
Not on this plane, but I have other sailplanes that have varios on them.
Okay, interesting. And anything different about landing a sailplane when you at this size?
You only get one chance.
You only get one chance.
So it's got to be right. No, there's really nothing different about it. And after you've flown them a few times, they're actually very easy to fly. The most difficult part is telling if you're in a thermal, which of course, if you had a vario, that'd be very helpful. But we usually just watch the wings. And so if you see a wing rise or dip, that tells you to turn in or turn out of the thermal activity.
Now I see that you're flying here the sailplane. Have you ever done the tow part?
Oh yeah, I actually have a tow plane. Not as nice as the one that towed me up here, but I have a tow plane, and I've done a lot of towing.
So when you tow a plane up like that, what is different about taking off when you have, being with a sailplane?
You know, it's really not that different. Of course, it depends on the size of the sailplane that you're towing. If you're towing a big aircraft, this one weighs about 10 pounds, and I said it has a 4-meter wingspan. So it's fairly easy to tow. But I have towed planes that weigh as much as 35 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And you've got to be gentle with it. You can't just horse them around. You've got to make smooth turns. You've got to be very careful in the use of elevator. It's no different than flying a regular RC plane, except that sailplane drivers got to keep one eye on the sailplane and one eye on the tow plane.
Okay.
Because you want to stay behind the tow plane. And actually, it doesn't take a lot of control movement to do that. The tow plane tends to kind of drag the sailplane around. And so long as you stay, in good position versus the tow plane, you'll be okay.
And then as a sailplane pilot, you would just get to a point and you just tell them it's time to release.
Yes, right.
Okay.
And we have line releases on all the sailplanes. And there's also a safety release on the tow plane.
Okay.
In the event something happens and you can't release the tow line from the sailplane.
So we're sitting right in front of one of Charles's 1/5 scale, a large plane here. So tell me a little bit about this plane you've got going here.
Okay, this is a very interesting airplane. It's a 1/5 scale model of an SNJ, what's formerly called a T6 Texan.
Okay.
And this was a trainer, a World War II trainer, and they made thousands and thousands of them. It was a very successful trainer. It was the last step before the pilots moved on into, warbirds.
Okay.
To the next step. And actually, a few of these were outfitted with armament, and flew in various theaters.
So tell me a little bit how long it took you to make this.
Okay,
and
this
where you got
airplane
this?
is kind of got a story.
Okay.
It's a Byron AT6, and Byron, went out of business probably 25 years ago. Okay, and the guy had this in his attic and never put together. It was still in the box.
Wow.
And it's got a fiberglass fuselage, and the wings are all built up. Okay.
Okay.
They're actually foam covered with balsa and then glassed. Okay. And so this airplane, it comes in various pieces, and you have to glue everything together. And, of course, you have to finish it off, and it's quite a job to do all that.
Yeah.
I'm showing it now without the wings, which it doesn't look
too
right.
big to show.
But the wings are 100. It has a 106-inch wingspan. So
Oh,
it's a big
yeah.
airplane.
Big airplane.
It weighs about 35 pounds. It flies very nice, but you have to fly it cautiously because it's got a reputation of doing ground loops. Okay?
Oh.
The real aircraft had the same problem.
Oh, my gosh.
It was because it had a huge motor, a radial engine on it, and the thing had such torque that it would literally, as soon as you broke ground, you had to be really on your toes, a lot on the rudder, a lot on the ailerons, because it would flip over.
Whoa,
Okay,
wow.
and the full size is just like it.
Wow.
But once you get off the ground and get a little altitude out, it flies like a dream. Wow. Flies very nice, and wind doesn't bother it much. Just an excellent flying aircraft overall.
How long did it take you to make this?
It took me about 6 months
6
or
months.
so. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I don't get in a hurry. I don't work on it all the time, not every day. And the hardest thing about this aircraft is painting exercise, as you have to find a place you can paint it to start with, you know. So what I did was, on this one and the big airplane as well, is I have a 10-foot canopy, you know, just a pop-up canopy.
Yeah.
And I have sides for it. And it's an old one, so it's not in great shape. I'd never take it anywhere. But I set it up on the patio in here and put the sides up on it and put a piece of plastic on the floor and put a vacuum cleaner in there with a filter on
It's
it.
like a paint booth that
Yeah,
you did
exactly.
there.
It's like a giant paint booth. So I set it up on some blocks and, you know, go after it. I actually made a rack for this aircraft, so I had a crank on the front so I could slowly turn it while I was painting it.
And you did the same thing with the World War I air.
Yeah, I
biplane.
did, exactly. And I made
Same
a
thing?
rack for it and a large 2x4 rack, and I would be able to turn the aircraft, you know, a quarter at a turn, you know, about 15, 20 degrees at a turn,
Yeah.
and spray it and then turn to do that.
And what size motor do you have in this?
This has got a Zenoa G62, which
Okay.
is kind of the standard engine for a Byron AT6.
Okay.
They used to race these, and I guess maybe they still do in certain parts of the country. But they always used the same engine, Zenoa G62, and standard props and all of that.
And
It
you've
couldn't be
taken this to
modified.
events as well, like you've.
I have, and I've won a couple of awards with it.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
Yep. I always enjoy taking it and flying. It always gets a lot of attention. I mean, the kit now is gosh, 27, 28 years old.
Wow.
It was 27, 28 years old when I bought it.
Yeah.
Okay, to build. And I've had this for now 8 or 9 years.
Yeah. Well, Charles, it was nice talking with you, and thank you for letting me come into your hangar and
a
kind of
pleasure.
show a little bit of what you're all about. And so if you like these kind of videos, please subscribe. We're going to catch you at the next hangar or next event, and thank you for watching.